Yeah, so before we get into the Krispy Kreme, I just want to sort of premise it. So it was a really busy week for IPOs south of the border. They had 17 companies list on US exchanges last week. We had cybersecurity company Sentinel One, we had the Chinese ride-sharing giant Didi, but we also had one of America's favorite donut companies, Krispy Kreme. It made its return to public markets after going private back in 2016. The company raised $500 million in the offering, which gives the stock an implied market capitalization of $2.7 billion, which is just over double what the company was taken private for in 2016. The stock was priced under the expected range of 21 to 24, which is rarely a good sign, but the stock still managed to close up an astounding 24%. Interestingly, I was just looking through the offering, and the company was able to double its revenue and its EBITDA since going private 5 years ago, which they're attributing to their new omni-channel approach to leverage their donuts. And if you want to look at the stock, it's traded under the ticker DNUT on the NASDAQ.
I think it was just out for like a day or two. 'Cause I'm on the hourly, so this is what the hourly looks like.
Can we agree that there's meme stock potential with this? Not that it's anything that I'm going to touch. It's not my wheelhouse, but I could see this catching some fire.
Do they own anything else, or are they literally just donuts?
So they have donuts and coffee shops. I didn't know that they sold coffee.
$2.7 billion donut company. That's amazing. They are good.
Now. Wow.
That's so funny. Yeah,
They had $1 billion in revenue last year. Sorry.
I was gonna say all the Reddit guys are gonna get all over this because like, oh, Krispy Kreme, I can see this being the next thing.
So the interesting thing is, I'm sorry to interrupt you, David.
No.
Yeah, so the interesting thing about this is that usually when companies go IPO, they'll do a whole marketing thing and they'll, have plenty of weeks of sort of generating hype for institutions, right? And they'll have an expected range. So their range was, we were going to go public at 21 to 24. And that's usually like a teaser price, like especially in a good market like this, they'll price it above that range. So it's like 21 to 24. And if it's a really hot IPO, as we say, they'll price it at like 26 or 27, right? This thing got priced at 17. This thing got priced like 20% below the low end of the range, which is like really not a good sign at all. But the thing still rallied to, I can't even see what price it's at, but just a word of caution. But maybe like that was a good thing. Maybe that like kind of spooked everybody out, and maybe there's not a lot of hands holding Krispy Kreme right now.
Yeah, it looks like it traded up to just over $21 at the high of the day, and came back down to 18, and it's kind of settled. It closed at $19.10. So, yeah,
it's over.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was a strong intraday chart, anyways.
You guys want to see? Do you guys want to see an IPO that went IPO a few days ago that did really, really well? Sentinel One. This one got priced above the range. So again, not a lot of data over here, but I feel like we're kind of seeing the inverse here. Like this is one that's like people are really excited about it and like maybe super growth oriented and like a little bit frothy, but with really good growth. But this one got priced above the range and people were just piling into it. And I know cybersecurity
sold off on the first day, but had a nice little pop. I don't know, Caitlin, you're the expert at like pre-market pops or like whatever. Like, what does that look like to you?
What's the time frame on that?
Well, this was 9:30 in the morning, so this is on the hourly. So this was the first day of trading ended here at a low, then it gapped up the next day.
Go to like the 5 or the 10-minute chart. Information on it.
Your little
the
micro time frames.
That looks good.
It looks like a little inverse head and shoulder kind of thing.
Yeah, like I mean that's like that. I don't know if that was the Friday or whatever, that second day there. Like when you get that pop in the morning and it kind of sells off and then it just holds steady like all day long and you get that push into the close, that's a really good sign. Like those are usually the kind of things that I'll see like gap up the next day.
So is it fair to say this is probably maybe early investors, maybe some employees or anybody that was already in it for a while and just wanted to cash out?
Yeah, I mean, well, like if you think about it psychologically, like if you look at that first day there, you had that big sell off, and then the second day you had this big strong open and it popped right up, but then it held basically above the main level from the day before all day. So that tells me that nobody from yesterday is selling, right? Because it's the stock held its high, like held midday for the whole time. Nobody sold out, and then it popped into the close. So obviously, everybody that bought that first day, even though it sold off, they're not panicking out of it.
Wow, this is an $11 billion company. That's what they IPO'd at? Wow.
Yeah, it's a big company, and cybersecurity is just a bigger and bigger issue. Like you see all of these hacks. Like it seems like every week we're getting a new hack, right?
Mhm.
Like
Mostly just
there was a
Facebook.
big one over the fourth. No, there was a big one of what was it, like a Swedish grocer or something that literally they were not able to open their cash registers over the weekend.
Really?
Like there's just a new hack almost every day.
Yeah. Doesn't
Seems to
surprise
make
me.
headlines, man.
Yeah.
Was that just like were they just somebody trying to vandalize their business, or did they try to steal something with that?
I mean,
With
it
the
seems like they're always asking for some money in return, right?
Kind of like a ransom or something. Like,
Yeah.
interesting. Oh, so Sentinel One's not cash flow positive yet. Is that it? I mean, they're close, I think, but
I
not yet.
I wouldn't expect it to be cash flow positive. Like we can look at a lot of these new IPOs. Like, we had a bunch of really big ones like Roblox last year and everything else. I actually do want you to look at something, David.
Yeah.
I'm not sure
What's
what
up?
the ticker is, but if we want to look at the IPO index, it's the Renaissance IPO index. I'm not sure what the ticker is on that, but
I'm an ape. How do you spell Renaissance? Is it
RENAISSA. Let me find out the ticker on this, but
yeah, David and I don't have very good verbal skills, as was our IQ test results.
okay,
proven?
guys,
It's
I'm just gonna make it easy.
proven.
IPO USA.
I did like that test though. That trader posted up was IPO USA. Is that
Well,
one word?
you guys are, yeah, IPO USA. You guys are damn good traders, so it does not matter.
Yeah,
Very
we
much
don't
Oh,
need
so.
here we go.
words.
Oh, okay. Sorry, that was the.
Yeah, so
There
pop
we
it up
go.
on like a daily maybe. Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is the basically the IPO index of like all of the American IPOs, the one IPO over the last year. They're still holding like some of the ones from last year that went IPO, but still like you can see that these things were like incredible performers. They had like a pretty sharp correction, and like now they're kind of, I'm not sure if they're going to make a lower high type thing, but just interesting to watch that IPOs have been in vogue lately, last couple of years.
That's pretty cool.
Especially
So,
since COVID.
what does this chart actually track then? Like, it just like each day it only tracks what the IPOs were on that specific day and how they performed.
Oh no, like what they do is they'll buy the IPOs. Like let's say like for example like Bumble went IPO back in February. Like they would buy shares of Bumble and they would just hold on to them. Now, I'm not sure what the time period is. Like do they drop them up after a year or 2 years or whatever? Like I know they're still holding some of the ones from last year. Maybe
Right.
it's a year. I don't have the exact metric, but they hold all of the new companies, the companies that are just recently listed.
Never seen that before.
So this is just a good barometer just to have on your list, just to watch.
Hmm.
Because I think that IPOs, like, you don't want them to be too hot. Because when they're too hot, they're going to take away money from, the large cap equities and
Right.
like the things that really move the market. But you don't want them to be ice cold too. Because if they're ice cold, then it shows people are just really fearful and people don't want to risk their dollars at all.
Looks to me the ETFs just ran into some supply and is about
Yeah.
to do a 10% pullback. It's interesting. Right into the
I
50.
agree with you. I think it's forming a lower high and then maybe a higher low, maybe an equilibrium.
So that's not good for IPOs. Oh, poor Coinbase.
Yeah, so Coinbase is definitely a big boy on this one.
Yeah.
Right.
What's that at now? Anyways, I haven't looked at that in a while.
Dude, that was a scam and a half, man. That thing came out. And it was like, I don't know if you remember, like there was like the rumored IPO price, and like every day it would go up.
Yeah.
It went as high as 420, I believe. And why 420?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
That's a
drew
little.
that in a while ago, but I gotta take that off. I think it's found a bottom.
Yeah, it looks like it has. It's perked up a little bit. So
Silver lining.
yeah.
I just think there's a cap on that, man.
Yeah, well,
I do think it's a good company though. Like I'm not a crypto guy, but I think that like the amount of users that they've amassed and the fact that they can charge like a spread, like if people buy Bitcoin, they charge a pretty hefty fee.
they do.
And if they can turn more into like a crypto bank, so to speak, and they can keep these users for like years and decades to come, I don't see why Coinbase can't be a contender there. I just think it's frothy, and we all know that a lot of the holders, like the employees and executives, they were dumping their stock.
Yeah.
I remember I saw the Q1 report. Maybe it was Q1 report or press release, but they were saying as soon as January hit, almost 40 or 50% of their revenue came from institutions and high net worth individuals. And that's why I'm curious about the Q3 numbers, because I feel like that market's dried up for them. So I'm wondering how it's going to impact their fees or the revenue. And I think that could be a catalyst for taking the price down a little bit further.
Hmm.
Because
Well,
at $50 billion,
is it still 50 bill?
yeah, 50.621.
Yeah, that just does not make a ton of sense to me.
Like how big is Goldman or like a Morgan?
I think Goldman is like, I think Morgan's a couple hundred, maybe like 300-400 if I'm correct, but let's check that out.
But like, new kid on a block comes out 50 billion, gets a decent price, gets a decent percentage value wise compared to like a bank, a full-fledged bank investment firm that's been around for like 100 years. That's
So
unless this
Goldman is
company,
120 and JP Morgan is almost 500, but JP Morgan's like just the behemoth of just the world banking
but you
space.
but even then you look at the two and you're like, is Coinbase really 10% of that company? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.